Hey guys, it's Dalena here. So I'm going to show you real fast how I created this magical unicorn photo using Photoshop. Okay, so here was my original, and as you can see, there are some things in the background here. We're very safe during these sessions, these types of sessions. The unicorn had on a harness and was held by the lady from Pony Pals at all times. But I'm going to show you how I cleaned this up and got rid of all of this and the stuff in the back and turned it into this. Okay, so to begin, I just press Ctrl J to create a duplicate background layer, and with my spot healing brush tool, I'm going to go over here and I'm just going to clean up some of this stuff back here. There we go. And I'm just trying to do this as quickly as possible. I do have a little bit of a background blur back here, so it's not too big of a deal. And I'm just going to leave this because I am going to crop the photo in whenever I'm finished. Okay, so that took care of that stuff back here, and I'm just going to flatten. Now I'm going to work on the unicorn's harness. So I'm going to create another duplicate background, and I'm going to start probably right about here, and I'm just going to I'm going to select the entire harness. Whenever I first started doing these, I was doing it in little pieces at a time, but I got to where I was just clicking on the whole thing just to see what it would do first, and it actually does a pretty decent job, just selecting all of it. And then I can always go back and use patch tool, cloning tool, some other different options to clean it up and make it look a little bit more streamlined. So I'm just clicking and dragging. Okay, so I'm only going to go to there for that. Okay, so now I'm going to switch over to patch tool. And on my patch tool, I'm going to keep it at normal. I know a lot of people use content aware, but for this one I'm going to use normal. And I'm just going to click around spots that still look a little off and just drag it over into an area that looks good. And if you notice, like, this is darker than this, but if you click and drag it, it still keeps the brightness. It does a really good job at blending it. Actually, that's too matchy, so I'm going to drag it over here. There. And you just want to make sure that you're not getting things too matchy. So if anything sticks out to you that's too duplicated, then just simply reselect it and put it somewhere else. I'm using a mouse for this. Usually I'm on my Wacom tablet, but I'm not going to spend too much time on this. Okay, so this is at 100%. And whenever you're doing these corrections, it's always best to zoom into 100% or around 100%. That way you have a better idea of what it looks like up close. Okay, so that's the harness off, and then you can turn this layer off and on to kind of make sure, like this part's a little funny. Yeah. And you're looking at the edges to make sure that nothing in the edges really sticks out. Okay, so that's the harness part. I'd say that looks pretty good. I'm going to flatten it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on taking this part off and the lighting. And for this part right here, I like to overshoot. I take, more photos than is probably necessary. But in this case, I have another picture that I took where the girls are looking off. So it's not a keeper photo, but I do have one where her arm and this part of the harness, the rope, is not covering up the horse's hair. And the reason why I'm not using healing tool to just grab that is because the texture of the hair, um, whenever I did the original one, the texture of the hair is so detailed that I'm just going to pull another image and place it on here and then just brush it in. Because with the healing brush tool, the spot healing tool, it pretty much just jumbled it all up. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to File and Place Embedded. And I've already pre-selected the photo, and it's this one right here. I'm actually going to use two of those photos to combine to make the perfect photo. So as you can see with this photo right here, she wasn't blocking the horse's hair here. So I'm simply just going to grab, let me place it real fast. I'm just going to grab with my lasso tool, and I'm just going to make a selection around the horse here, and then press Ctrl J to put the selection on its own layer, and then I'm just going to turn off the main layer. Okay, so with this right here, with the selection, I'm going to press Ctrl T so that I can move it around, and I'm going to lower the opacity of the layer so that I can see through it, so that I can see where I'm placing the layer. And I'm just going to match up the hair. I'm not too worried about, anything else because I'm just going to brush the hair on here in just a second. So I'm just going to match the edge. I don't know if you can see, here's the edge of the layer, and I'm just going to match it up as best I can. And about there, I suppose. See what that looks like. Bring it back up to 100%. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a layer mask for this, and I'm going to press Control I to invert it. And that just, everything's hidden with a black. If it shows black here, it's hidden. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to my brush, and I'm going to choose a white brush because I want to reveal. And with the 100% opacity and flow, I'm just going to come over here and I'm just going to start painting. And it's revealing the layer. Okay. And now I'm going to lower my opacity to probably about 40%. And I'm just going to brush to sort of blend it. And I'm going to switch to black. I went a little too far there. Okay. Right, now I'm going to see what it looks like. 100%, and I'm just going to keep brushing as I can get a little bit of her out of there. There we go. Okay. I'm going to switch back to a black brush, lower it down to 20%, and just start brushing off to sort of blend this bottom part a little bit better. Because I can always use the healing tool on the ropes. I'm not too concerned about that. I'm just trying to blend it as best I can before I have to use that healing brush. And I think that's pretty good. That completely got rid of. There's before and there's after. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty decent. Okay, so now I'm just going to flatten that, and I'm going to press Ctrl J to create a duplicate background layer. Go back to my healing brush tool, and just get rid of the rest of that rope. And patch tool, clean it up a little bit more. Okay. Okay, so the harness and the rope is completely off. This is at 100%. I don't see anything that sticks out. Okay. Alright, so now I'm going to get rid of her in the picture. I'm going to flatten, and I'm going to use this photo here where I had taken a picture where it had the edge of the tree, and see the edge of the tree here with her not in it. So I'm going to place this. Sweet things. I think they were starting to get a little bored there. Okay, so I'm just going to place that there. And then with my lasso tool, I'm just going to come over here and I'm going to select down and around. And then I'm going to press Ctrl J to put it on its own layer and turn off that layer. I'm going to create a mask and hold Ctrl I to invert it. And with a brush at 100%, switch to white because I want to reveal it. I'm going to brush. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me go back to black. I forgot to move it. Okay, so basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to invert it again, press Ctrl T, and I need to line it up. Okay, so basically whenever you're lining stuff up in here, you're going to pay attention to where the ground is. So on this, looks like maybe right there. Okay. Now I'm going to hide it by inverting it, and then now I can brush it in. Yeah, sorry. Okay, so yeah, whenever you place your selection, You can either lower the opacity so that you can see the surroundings through the layer and place it that way. Always remember to do that first before you go painting, because whenever I was painting just a while ago, it was putting the sky in the middle of the tree, and I just wanted this little, this little bit of the corner here. And whenever you have trees and things like that in the background, you can do content aware, but sometimes certain textures, like wood especially, it won't, it won't, it won't feel correctly. It'll be like a jumbled mess. So you can always use other photos that you've taken to piece together, like we did with the hair and this part over here, because I took a good probably 200 photos in this one session, and there's, you can find different elements. You just find, similar photos to what you're looking for, and you can slowly piece it together if you need to, just like that. So with this, that looks good. I'm going to flatten it, and then I'm going to crop it in to right about here. And then from here, I would just simply do the final edits. The horse doesn't have the harness anymore. We have this background fixed. The hair looks good. I mean, from here, it's just doing whatever edits that you'd like to do. I would recommend saving right now, so you don't have to do anything again. And then after the edits, this is what it ended up looking like. It looks like a magical unicorn session, but yet, in the original photo, it was completely safe. Everybody had, safety precautions, harness, rope, lady there at all times. And then, with a little help from Photoshop, you can actually turn it into a really, really cool magical photo. And I hope this helps anybody who's looking to do something like this. If you have any questions, feel free to message me. And I think that's it. Thank you for watching.